Hey, kia ora whānau. The day down on the farm, I'm going to break this sheet down into 3 different pieces and show you how we do it. We're going to, when I say 3 different pieces, there are 3 sections to the lamb. We've got the rear end, the loin, and the shoulder. We're going to show you how I break that down. So let's get amongst it, eh? Right, so first up, I'm going to clear the legs here. Just try and break that round for you to see. I like to pull back this flap. You can see where it comes in through under there. Follow the muscle, and that gives you that. You can just sort of cut out through there, and you can see where the back leg starts. So I'll just roll it over this way, so I go this side. It's always important not to be cutting towards yourself. Try and cut away. Excellent. So now that I'm just exposing this area, so I can, because I like to get in here, and so I can access the backbone, so I can find the joint. You know, I'm not a fantastic butcher, and sometimes I can't find this particular joint that I'm looking for. And when we're taking off the back leg here, what we're looking for is the tailbone fold. Call it a fold. There's a point where the tailbone sort of takes a natural sort of curve down on the animal. In this instance, it's going that way, but when you're looking at it, and there's a joint here at that point, and we're looking for the joint back from it. And so I'm looking through here. So at the moment, I'm just cleaning out the loin area as well as I can. There's glands in here as well, so we're looking to clear those while I'm here, and that'll go to my scrap bin. Right, now I'm sorry I can't, but I have to show you from on the roll when I'm trying to do. But what I'm doing is clearing out through here, making sure there's no shit left in it. Shit, any fat. I like to clear that area, and because quite often, and there is a couple of glands in there, that area is quite the meat, the muscle through there it's not palatable. You can't eat it. So at the same time, what I'm doing is I'm finding this joint. So there's a joint here that I can see right now is the tailbone, and you can see how the knife is on that sort of angle. So that's that joint. What I want to do is pull back to the next one, just right there, and that's my point that I'm going to be cutting through. And so I'm going to get my knife in there, and I'm going to separate that through that joint. If I get it right, I won't look stupid. Right, there we go. Now, what I would like to do is get my knife out. This is my steak knife. Just going to clear that down through there. My joint line. Again with the hair, probably should have got a hair tie, eh? Do you hear that crack with the knife? Missed it. No, missed it. Got the hip bone there. That's all right. We'll cut through that. Maybe I can just take my angle a little bit better, and I might miss that joint. Just cleaning up later. So the first cut that I pulled through there, I caught the hip bone, and I'll show you what that looks like on the other side here now. Oh, it's not as easy to roll as you think. Right, and you can see, because I've come in wrong there, a slightly fucked angle. Right. We'll clean that up. Alright. So that's the back legs. Put that there for a second. Stay on the bench. Good old boy. This was a wether. 16 months old. Give that a clean up. Right, we're going to clean this up a little bit. See what we want to do here. Well, actually, no, we're not going to clean it up too much. I'll show you a little bit of what I would do normally. I'm going to take out this fat. Now, normally I would keep that's good good fat for the sausage meat. So I'm just cleaning that out. Now normally I would take all of this through here out. That's all going into sausage meat again. I won't carry on too much because really all I want to do is show you how to break down the three different pieces of, or the unit into three different pieces, but I'll show you how to split these legs, and we'll also get the bandsaw in place. Right, so he's a good unit, eh? Nice fatty fella. Again, I'm going to use my larger knife. I'm going to come through here, and look, if I really get the right spot, I won't have to do fuck all. Take it the other way. Just like that. I'm a bit cautious when I do that. I'm going to fuck it up, don't want to cut myself. And be left with this. Now I'm going to take this to the bandsaw behind me. I could bring my handsaw in. In fact, let's just use the handsaw for now. So when I use a handsaw, I'm going to mark up. And I'm marking. I put my knife in, and I clear through to the bone. And then I've got a nice seam to follow. Now, as any good butcher and or builder will tell you, or even engineer with a hacksaw, let the blade do its job. A little bit cautious of banging the old edge. Let's pull that way and go over the top. Woo. This bench is good, eh? I'm really enjoying this bench. Gives me an opportunity to be a bit more forceful when I'm dropping the chopper and things like that. Oh, it's not easy doing this shit sometimes, you know. Look at that. There we go. Right, 2 legs of lamb. I've got a couple of hooks here. No, one moment please, caller. So now I've cut those down. You'll get to look at them. I'll grab a few hooks here, I need them. How's that for being prepared? So there's the 2 legs. Now there's a couple of ways you can break these down, and we're not going to do that today. I might do another video of that another day, but we can take the tailbone out, and again there's a lot of meat in there that's going to be trimmed out. put into mince. We can take the shank off, and you get a really nice, almost drumstick kind of meal out of it. And then you've got some chops. You got a roast which you could turn into steaks, bone out the bone, and then you've got the rump, which is also just another roast. The other way you can do it is just to lop off the end of the hock here, take that as a shank roast through there, and then you've got a fillet roast. You cut the bugger in half. You could do it into three, like that. This is a good sized leg. Oh, actually, look, there's the old scale. Let's throw that on the hook, eh? Give it a scale check. Oh, yeah, I'll judge that edge. Right, that leg is going to be about 3.5 kilo, that leg. My scales are set up for a couple of extras. So yeah, you go, 3.5 kilo legs. Now let me get them in the fridge without delay. Hey! Fuck! Oh, that hurt. You watch those S hooks, so you can twist your fingers in the buggers. Okay, so we move forward to separating the loin and the shoulders. So what I like to do now is take off the hocks. It's a pretty easy job at the end of the day. I'll try and show you how I do it from here. Not as easy when you're trying to put it on a camera, eh? Just going to clean that up, get it out of my way. It's a bit more shit. Sure, it's meat will go to the dogs. Right, so when I do this, I'm trying to look at my backbone here and make sure that when I roll through here that I'm cutting with my backbone rather than the breastplate. Now, when I look at that, it gives me an angle. It makes life nice and easy, and I'm just going to look at that point where the joint here, the knuckle bends, and I'm going to take it. You can also see it with the fat line there, and take my knife. I'm going to cut through, right? And usually it lines up quite well with that. The edge of the breastplate and the leg joining. So that mark is twofold. I'm going to straighten my cut up there. I'm going to cut across the breastplate there as well. That'll help me mark up on the other side and keep myself nice and straight. It also gives me an opportunity, if I wanted to come down through here. Now this is where you start choosing what you're doing with your gear, what you're doing with your meat. So, but I'm going to just break it into its pieces. I'm not going to start creating flaps and or chops at this stage. I'm just going to split it off and show you what we get. But to do so, we're going to take these joints off. So I've marked it so my handsaw doesn't get I think I broke it rather than cut it. Yeah, I did. Anyway. Should have got a larger pouch when I brought it. My 12-inch steak knife doesn't quite fit in my pouch, and I have to be very careful not to stick my hand in there and grab the edge of it. And yeah, as I thought, just clean that off there. What's happened is I've bent down on my joint, and I've got an edge there that I'm going to try and just clean up so it's not around for later, although it doesn't really matter. It's just me being a perfectionist. And the good thing about all of that, and I will put that with another tray under the fridge. How's that? I like this bench, man. This bench comes with its own fridge. So I've got a couple of joints in here already. Yep, that'll fit there. There we go. Leave me there for a second because I'm going to take this other side off. Let's get amongst that now. Right, as I said, I'm going to try and follow that mark through there to make sure that I am cutting into my joint in the right place. And again, looking for that back line. It's going to run through. And the reason we're cutting through like that is to allow us to get our handsaw in there. I'll try not to snap it this time. Let the handsaw do its job. So we want to do this without. We cut the meat open so we're not ripping the meat with the saw. There we go. You can hear it cut through. So through the bone. When your handsaw cuts through, you can hear it. So change your tone in the way the bone works. Don't use your knife to clear away bone dust. Have a cloth on hand to clean up like that. Right, so there's just the hocks. I'll just put those away. Doesn't quite fit, but put it away. Deal with that later. Right, so now we are down to our shoulders and the loin. So when it comes to the shoulders, what I'd like to do is take the neck off first. So let's mark that out as well as I can for you in front of you. How do I do that? All right, let's try that. There you go. So I'm looking for a decent neck. I like the neck chops. I don't mind using my big steak knife for things like this. You can really get a nice cut with it. And just, I like to find the neck fold. Excuse me, I'm just going to expose that a little bit. Just clean that up. So I'm marking that right through there, and yeah, I'm using my little knife. It is a little different than the steak knife marking for me, because I can roll through with the steak knife a little better sometimes. That really made a difference in that instance. Right, so I'll throw it over here. I'm going to try and make those things line up now. This is why I use my steak knife normally. Nice long cut. Exposing the neck well. And again, it's not, you need a handsaw for this shit, eh? You can't take it over to the bandsaw. I mean, if you want to, you could probably find that joint and cut it out, but just by exposing the meat, exposing the neck bone, by cutting through the meat, get over there with your handsaw, and just let the thing do its job. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. A nice looking frickin' neck chop that. Or neck. We'll turn that into chops later. Just throw that there for now. Okay. So splitting the two loins here. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mark out through the front of the brisket. I'm going to cut down through there. That'll allow me to expose through the rib bones and give me more access to get my cut in to open up the loin and the shoulders. So again, out with a big steak knife, I like it. It's easy to see, and you can nicely line up your cuts, just like that. If you want to really break down into it with the boning knife, you can. Be a little bit more of a cut through if you like, but it's unnecessary if you do it well with the big knife. Alright. Note to self, don't forget your hair tie. Don't need it normally, I've got a hat on, right? Right, hear that change? Change of tone. That's breaking through the brisket there. And now we can open that up a bit better. And now I can also count back from the front rib how many, which is in my instance I'm going to go back 6 ribs back from the front before I put my cut in. And I'll show you how I do that. So we have, I count back from the ribs at the very front, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at the 7th rib, because I like to keep a little bit of meat on the shoulder and try and get away from the shoulder blade bone, I cut to the very edge of the 7th rib. I'll show you how I do that. I'll just count that again. There it is. I'm just going to basically cut right through using my boning knife. And remember, see, I've just positioned myself away from my knife because my knife is coming through. I'll just cut up through there like that. Right now, because I'm following the rib, does not quite go straight. That's alright, I don't care. I'll fix that up later. I want the meat in both places, yeah? And it's an easier cut when you start breaking down your loin chops, as I've found. Right, so I'm going to do that on the other side now. We can usually see from the other side where our 7th is. So again, just straight through, get out of the way. And the knife, as you'll see, is right through when you're finished. Now, if I was strong enough and big enough and ugly enough, I could just cut right through there. But what I'm going to do is use the saw. So I'm just going to straighten that up through there. My big knife, try and line it up onto this other side here, and I will come down through the middle there with the hand saw again. Brisket bone's not too hard to cut through. I could have actually used my bigger knife to cut through this. Just doing it the easy way. Right, so now I'm just going to finish up those cuts through the loin. I'll do that this way, and again I'm going to be following the edge of that 7th bone, and hopefully it lines up nicely. You tell me, you'll see it before I do. Oh, did it line up? I can't see it. I can't fucking see it. I can't see it, Albert. Alright. Actually line up quite nicely. So, up through the back there. The knife can act like a bit of a chopper. I need to do that this time, but looks like we're through. I will use my boning knife here, which I could have done in the first place, just to cut through into the bone a bit better there. Now, there's people out there that do this a lot better and a lot faster than me. This is just what I do. I was looking on YouTube just the other day to remind myself how to do a few of these things. So hopefully I can provide you with some information, but right, haven't quite got the joint, but that's all right, we're going to cut it anyway. So out with the handsaw again, of course. Look, and just cut through the backbone off that 7th rib. Yeah, I heard that change. Now hopefully I can just run the knife through there. Right, so now we have our shoulders and our loin, and that's a lovely looking loin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give that a quick clean up through there. Needs it. That'll help me see my line when I go to put it against the on the saw, which is my next mission. We're going to cut that up. Alright. Very nice. I like the look of that line. Okay, so to the bandsaw. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut right through that line that I've exposed through there. You can see the line, and hopefully that's going to line up nicely with the bone as I go through, and we'll just see how that goes. That line was so big that the plate stopped moving. I had to have a hard time pushing it through then. Right, so there we go. There's your loin there. Two good looking loins. And what we'll do is we will end up cutting those down. Firstly, we'll take the flaps off, but we're not doing that today. But after we've done the flaps, we would have chops. And I like to cut between these joints here to get my loin chops, and then we have our cutlets up the top here, and if you're really lucky you get 8 good cutlets out of there. Right, so for the first instance what we're going to do is we're just going to stab that with a hook. Stab that one there with a hook. We'll hang them up. Hey, look at that, yummy. Right, and we're down to our last joint, which is the shoulders here. So, the shoulder's a wonderful piece of meat. I will probably roll this. I've got some stuffing here waiting to go for that, but that's not today. Sorry people, you get another video for that one. But yeah, what we're going to do now is we're just going to basically push this over to the saw, cut through, and we'll be done with those two. So let's get amongst that now, eh? And it's going to be easier to roll it through that way, I think. Yeah. Here we go. 2-hole shoulders that I will now put in the fridge. So yeah, I will then, I'm going to break these down shortly. We'll roll them. But for now, that's us. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed what I've been able to do here and show you here. It's really handy having this bandsaw, but you know you can produce the same result with a handsaw, and you can't really break down any sheet without a handsaw. If you are using the bandsaw, please note if you've got yourself a glove, that bandsaw can catch that and drag your hand in, so be very careful as well. You probably shouldn't have used the glove in that instance. However, that's us. Alright, I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll put these two beauties in the fridge. Leave you all to it. Kia ora whānau. You'll be good now, eh? And if you can't be good, you better be good at it. See you all.